And then we are live here on Eswatini TV. Hello and welcome. Monday, the 18th of May, the year is 2020. It is a new norm that is becoming a usual one. But for sports, we are not yet you are not yet used to the COVID-19. But if you look at around the world, this pandemic, of course, is taking our lives and it's becoming a norm. But for sports, around the corner and around the entire world, a lot of things are yet to be a norm. We are yet to facilitate a way we can practice sporting activities in the presence of sport. Hello and welcome. This is a Temidlalo live show. Of course, your host Fabrice Msuna. A lot to talk about this evening. Of course, we have Eswatini Sports Council to touch on different activities. When you have a sport council, it means you are actually touching on the entire sporting associations in the country. We hear the ins and outs and how are they coping with the COVID-19 currently in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Some associations have already started doing some kind gesture. Golf, for instance, they were helping some of the caddies here in Mbabane at the Mbabane Golf Course, where they were just handing over something to to assist them during this time where the pandemic is taking over. Otherwise, for golf, there's a lot to talk about because there was actually the tournament that was being played over the weekend at Ngonyeni Golf Club. We're just going to touch that to understand what are the ins and outs, what's going on, have the sporting activities, some of them, are they allowed to be opened or yes or not? That will be, of course, in the company of Linda Dlamini, our in-house analyst, who's going to drive us through up to the international platform to look at some of the sporting activities internationally. The Bundesliga, the activities over the weekend were resuming. Of course, the likes of Bayern Munich and Schalke 04, of course, being involved in action. We touch on that and, of course, look at what's happening internationally. Otherwise, I'm already in the company of Zamat Sabetse. I would say I like using the word senior officer within the Sport Council because he's got a lot of responsibility within the organization. Today, he's the acting CEO. Sometimes I would see his development. Just let's stick to senior officer of the Sport Council.
Yeah, good evening to the viewers and good evening.
Yes, I think it's your first time being in the studio since there have been changes. I think last time Beula Beunga Sinche. So let's say we are one of the few guests to sit on this magic chair. But as part of a way of moving in the same direction with government, whenever we have a guest, we ensure that you are being sanitized. I'm not saying that you have the virus, but I'm saying that you could be the one going to be in trouble when you get here. But the same applies to me as well, to make sure that I'm safe in front of you. Now, Mr. Savage, I think we will recall, thank you very much, we'll recall, I think it was back in March when you as an association and of course announced that sporting activities have been suspended due to the coronavirus. It's been, one would say, close to 2 months since 2 months since you decided to stop activities with the situation that is happening. Would say how difficult the decision was and how are the associations coping, even your organization itself, how are you coping with the situation?
Indeed, it's been been a month. I recall when the call came from the Honorable Minister. It was a Friday evening. We were preparing to host one of our Shuguma outreach activities at Lutza Inkundla. And that call came that we had to cancel that event. We had to do everything we could to stop the event from proceeding the following day. And subsequently, government announced a national emergency, which then was followed up by a national partial lockdown. And subsequent as well, the Honorable Minister then issued a lockdown on sports activities.
Babet Sabet, I think at this point in time, maybe we'll get into the juicy of the story to say you are an organization that have about, I would say, over 28 up to 30 associations that affiliates under the Sport Council. And I think you being a fully supported government institution, one would say it's quite tricky for some of the organizations who have to wait for sponsors and everything. How are they coping so far within the month since you've taken the decision to say, Mr. we are stopping games? How is the cooperation within the associations and how are they surviving overall?
I think one must obviously commend sporting associations for having fully cooperated with us, and in particular with government, through adherence of government directives in terms of locking down sports. Associations have coped very well. Obviously, yes, they missed the action. We all missed the action as well. It's what we live for. It's what we do on a daily. So yeah, we were trying to cope as best as we can, but it's a situation that we have to accept and live with. Some of the things that were normal yesterday are no longer normal. The new normal has come in. The washing of hands, the sanitizing each time you enter a room is becoming our new normal.
Yes, maybe to give an overview to a viewer who would see what are some of the biggest events the association was expected to take. You talk about maybe the Regional 5, awards. You talk about some of the events you would say were supposed to take place, but now since there is this whole pandemic, you decided to say let's put them on hold.
I think around about the time the lockdown kicked in, not just only in the country, but probably within the SADC region. One of our biggest activities that we were due to attend was obviously our African Union Sports Council Region 5 meetings. There was a host of meetings that had been scheduled that we were due to attend, part of which included Chef the Missions meeting. Chef the Missions meeting relate to leaders of delegations of team of country representatives that will be representing the country at those regional games that are due to be hosted by Lesotho in December. So that was the first meeting, preparatory meeting, where those leaders of those regional teams were supposed to be traveling to Lesotho to discuss, amongst other things, the rules governing those games, to view the state of preparedness of Lesotho, view facilities, view accommodation issues, and probably just see the state of readiness of Lesotho and tick those boxes as per norm.
My moya was so passive about Noma is about the questions I'm about to ask you. Now let's pertaining to the issue of aiding or supporting associations. Maybe one would want to say, let's not touch on the allocation that you got from government, because it was not including the COVID-19. But at this point in time, is there a specific maybe allocation in terms of some an amount of money, finances that you have set aside to say this will specifically assist sporting associations within this time?
I think you have mentioned that our main source of income, or our main sponsor, is government, and as an organization we have specific guidelines and procedures that guide how we provide grants to our respective recognized associations, and largely those procedures touch on issues that contribute to the National Development Index. So as and when associations put in requests that relate to those issues, then support will be received.
Now this maybe sorry to stay maybe a bit on the same question, to say when maybe the budget was released, and then we know that the allocation mostly starts around April. So would one say is that it's a coincidence that maybe giving them their share of the cake this time around will assist them, of course, to deal with this time of the COVID? Because I want to believe this is the right time where you normally send out some of their shares to the associations.
I would not assume. I would not want us to assume what requests we will receive post-COVID. But as I've mentioned, our procedures will guide how we assist association. And if we evaluate those requests and we deem it fit, or we seem it relevant as it's contributing to National Development Index, then support will be received, whether it's COVID related or whether it's non-COVID related.
Wow, I loved it. There you have it. Now, another question maybe that is actually having everyone in maybe in a one would say in we. Singasho would say we're all confused. What's happening? I'm not saying that this is to blame you as an organization or to blame specific associations, but some people do believe that their association, their sport, can still be active under the current situation. I don't want to pick any association because we know some of them are active and it's a fact, and maybe later on the show we'll touch on them. But at this point in time, since you speak on behalf of all the associations, are you aware that some of the associations are active?
Nothing formal has come to our attention. I did mention, or I did at commencement of our discussion, commend association for their adherence to government directives. And like I'm saying, nothing has come to our attention, nothing formal at least has come to our attention that there's a specific association that has gone against that ban. When that information comes to us and empirical evidence is presented to us, then we will deal with those situations.
What are the actions, maybe, sorry to cut you, what are the actions one would say, not to be specific to say you're going to disqualify them, what are the actions we're looking at if one is found with the same impeccable evidence you're talking about? What are the actions maybe you've prepared as an association?
It's not really what we have prepared, but it is what is standard. We are an organization that is run by policies and procedures. And for instance, if an association is non-compliant, one of the worst case scenario is that they may not get recognition from the government organ, that being us, the sports council. So their recognition as a sports entity in the country may be withdrawn.
And of course, that share we're talking about, they might not receive it.
Subsequently, the consequences then go to that immediately you're not recognized, then you may not be able to access government support.
Now, I love that. And I think for some of the associations I was talking about that are still active, we'll touch on names with one of our analysts, in-house analysts. But then maybe, Babetsa, another thing to mention is to say, what is the current stand? I mean, I think we've said it over and over time. Mass sports will open once we've got a go ahead from government. But when we say what are we saying exactly? Because I think when you talk to one association, they say it's a partial lockdown. When you're one, it's fine. It's fine. No, this time I can use an example. It's not to say it's them. Cycling will tell you I can be on my bicycle. I'm on my bicycle on the road. I'm alone. Tennis will tell you if I'm on a tennis court alone, there's no problem. Golf will tell you if I'm on a course and I'm alone, there's no problem. Athletics will tell you if I'm on the road, I'm alone, there's no problem. So are we saying that when we say sporting activities are not active, are we including those people who also saying I'm alone and I can be active? What are we saying exactly? Because and then the response when it comes, it also sounds like maybe there is a bit of a right they have. But this will maybe give a clear explanation to say there's a reason why when they say stay indoors, they mean even that one individual stay indoors. Maybe just clear that air for us, Mr. Tsabetsa.
I think the ban is largely on activities. You will note, Fabrice, that sport is a huge contributor to health. So we are not saying that in your own individual space, probably within the confines of your home, practice sport. We're not saying do not do that. In your own individual space, do your exercise, do whatever you can that is sport related. But the problem then begins when you now move out of your space, because remember the partial lockdown comes with travel restrictions.
True.
You're not supposed to be moving from point A to point B, because you're then probably going to expose yourself and probably expose other people to COVID. So practice whatever you can in that little space of yours. Yes, maybe get into your bicycle, hit the road, you are alone.
That's allowed. That is allowed.
You move back, you come back home.
True.
But try avoid now getting into groups, running in groups, because the moment you now organize yourself as group, it's obviously a meeting point that you will meet. You then expose yourselves and those other individuals to COVID.
Wow.
But try as much as possible to exercise within your own personal space.
I like what you touched on. I think the issue, it's the groups. The more we gather, the more we are likely to spread the COVID-19, the coronavirus pandemic. Now, let's touch on the issue of the recommendations that are coming from association. I think you are looking at a situation where you can barely say some of the association can practice at this point in time, but not to say it's official, but you are looking into that. And there are some recommendations coming through. Tell us about that.
The call for recommendation, yes, it's titled the call for recommendation to reboot sport. As you know, sport is presently non-active. So we want to present our case to government to reboot sport in stages, I can say. You will note that associations differ, and perhaps a one-size-fits-all approach may not be the ideal. So the call for recommendations was actually to get those sport specifics from each individual sport code on how they can actually resume sport.
Maybe one would say, I don't know if at this point in time you can tell us how many associations that have come forward pertaining to the issue, to say these are some of the association that has come forward, or maybe just a number to say they have been bringing some of their recommendations.
Again, I must commend our sporting bodies for the overwhelming, I would say overwhelming, because all of our associations by close of business today had submitted their recommendations through the platform that we had created for them. So that's a positive, and it truly shows to us that they are with government in this fight against COVID, and they are also keen in terms of wanting to get back into activity.
It sounds like the associations are a secret. You can't mention their names, but they are there.
They are there.
All right. I think another tricky question from the viewer, maybe who's sitting at home, before maybe we round up the interviews, to say, as one of the biggest organizations, when you look at sports, I want to believe you've been in connection with medical assistance, to say, when we think of bringing some of the sporting activities back, what are the measures we take? Because at this point in time, you and I, Mr. Sabeza, would agree, would say the virus has no cure yet, officially. Two, measure, we don't know when, how far it can go. We can keep saying sports will return until even 2025. We don't know yet.
We don't know.
So have you consulted a medical team or a medical front to say what are the measures can be taken if some of the sporting codes angakhuleka?
I think the guidelines have the health safety guidelines have been overemphasized by our local Ministry of Health, by the World Health Organization, by anybody in the health space, or anybody that is affected by COVID. International federations as well will share respective sport-specific guidelines with their national federations, which we have requested that if they have received those, they should also share those with us as part of their recommendations for rebooting sport. And we want to believe that those as well have been thoroughly checked and prepared in consultation with the respective health authorities.
I think on that one, Mr. Sabes, you're talking about the usual ones, which is washing your hands regularly, which is wearing of mask and everything. But what I'm saying here is that if we were to say activities are returning for some of the association, let me pick swimming, let me pick athletics, then we have a race, we have a tournament. the measures I'm talking about, before we have a marathon of 1.5 people, have you looked at to say these are the measures? We test them even before they start 2 weeks, or just to look at some of the things that will ensure that the sports are safe.
I really do not want to preempt the recommendations that have come through from associations. We have not really given ourselves time to digest them. The deadline was today. We are
True.
yet to go through all of them and collate them into meaningful documents that we can be able to present as part of building our case.
All right, Mr. Tabitha, maybe we closing just to give to encourage and to keep emphasizing that people do stay at home, and you will announce when sporting activities will return.
Again, I would want to commend associations for having adhered to the government directive and further encourage them to continue doing so. Stay at home, it's the safe thing to do. Avoid unnecessary travel, and of course, remember to sanitize, avoid touching your face. The list of those guidelines or those safety precautions is endless.
Wow, there you have it, Mr. Tabitha, of course, one of the top officials, of course, within the Eswatini National Sport Council, just giving us an overview of what's happening with the associations, how are they dealing with this pandemic, and of course, the recommendations have been coming, like you mentioned. Today was a deadline, and they are yet to digest on some of the proposals that are coming from the associations to look at if some of the associations that prove not to be pandemically a problem to this situation can proceed. Otherwise, a short break will be in the studio in the next few minutes with our in-house analyst Linda Dlamini to touch on some of the sporting activities that are taking place during this ban locally and internationally. After this.
Litiko letempilo kwesixwayisile ngesifo lesivelile kulamalanga i-coronavirus COVID-19 bagcizelela kakhulu ukuhlendeka kwetandla lokumcoka ukuthi itandla tigezwe nawugeza tandla ke bashilo ukuthi tigeze lokungenani ama-seconds lang-20 ngemanti lagijimako lanesifo. Lokunye ke labasixwayise ngawo ukuthi latingalweni lingahlala leligciwane udzinga ukuthi letingalo nato utiwashe ungashintshe itandla kuphela for 20 seconds nalamkhathi sini wetandla ugeze nakhona litawufa ligciwane kanjalo. Ngiyacela ma-loyal viewers, gezani itandla, nihlale ekhaya, nihlale niphephile, sitayinqobe i-COVID-19.
Now, from the moment it was announced that there will be no sporting activities due to the ongoing COVID-19, we all felt that. But imagine how much work you can do in your house just using your chair. It could be anything you have in your house. Take a look at this. From my own chair, I'm able to exercise 30 minutes per day, from biceps to triceps to my abs. But what are you waiting for? It is doable, it is possible. I'm able to do all the work. No matter how much time it will take me, I will stay active. Now, if you're a soccer player, an athlete, a gym instructor, anyone who loves exercising, use this time. It is doable in the house, in your own time. Stay safe. Together, we'll win this war.
Imidlalo yonke imisiwe eveni. Hlala ekhaya utivikele kulesifo iCovid-19. Lokumcoka ukuthi uhlale ekhaya. Sitawudlala imidlalo uhulumende sekazivumele.
Kulesikhathi lapho khona umhlaba ula nemkhuhlane iCoronavirus, uhulumende kwakuleli ucele wona eMaswati ukuthi akahlale ekhaya alandele imihiso nemihambo yenhlangano yomhlaba emhlabeni. Kanike ngabe mbukeli ukuthi ngakala ukuthi uphume uye ekhaya ngoba ke uye emsebentini. Hlala ukufake iface mask. Kanike ngabe kubita ukuthi ukhwehlelela emkhonweni. Sitawubonana mbukeli mayibuya dona Temidlalo ngabe sitawulandzela dona tinqumo ta hulumende. Stay home, stay safe.
So lokukhutsatwa kona ke ukuthi hlale ekhaya uhlanzekile ugeze tandla.
Keep fit, stay home.
Ungayi ngaphandle kuyodlala imidlalo.
Hlala ugcoke iface mask.
There you have it. We're still with you, of course, live on Eswatini TV. For those, of course, who are watching us on YouTube platforms, we're saying that thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we're still with you. I'm in the company of our in-house analyst, Temidlalo, who's going just to give us an overview of some of the things that are taking place in the country and, of course, internationally.
Fabrice, ngiyabonga leli thuba lekubala ngithuba lokukhuluma ngivusela imali viewers ekhaya kungusa kimi kuthi ngibe la Fabrice.
So long sibalo wami.
Uyohlela ungisibalo wami Fabrice. Yeah.
Yeah, usuka la Tsabetse Master. The issue is I think even if I was going to ask him for the 100th of time, there's still something that is left behind. Because if then he said some can, if you are one, you can just take your bicycle and go out and you come back. You see, you are still leaving a room would see people can practice a bit. Then what are you saying to that golf? What are you saying to that tennis athlete? What are you saying to that swimmer? So whenever I'm alone, I can be able to practice.
Ngicabanga Fabrice kule timpendulo takhe nakuza there were a lot of ambiguous answers lasinike tona Mr. Tsabetse, because okay uthi lamanye ema sports akasiko sure ukuthi ayadlala and but ngiyathi uthi uzama nje kubhaca ngelicembe le uyati kwesibili ushilo ke wakubeka kwacaca vele ukuthi nangabe beva sebasho ukuthi akhona lamanye ama sporting courts ladlalako ema associations la sadlala, then batawapanisha more especially nalokuthi batawakhokha la ka sports and recreation, but mina ngiva ngase lenzaba lebe kumele ukuthi bayisukumele kakhulu bona, because leti nombolo letinye lesihlale sidiva ukuthi khona laba infected astart lo sithi buya ngenteka kube tibuya kulaba labahle badlala, because kude lolubalandzelako kakhulu.
I mean, another thing he touched on is in Zawema recommendations coming from the association, which I want to believe, yes, at some point we have to understand, we would see there are sports that wouldn't really be a threat with a pandemic, but maybe they are not mentioning the associations. But what are the sports now buga must buga not see this can have a session, this cannot have a session? Not to say you're undermining some of the association, but some of the sporting codes buga, you can tell these ones can practice the activities.
True Fabrice. Ngabekisa nje Fabrice a sport lesnje tennis, because tennis lo munye utawumangale lo munye emangala, so bangadlala labo bamvu labo, but asati lo si before bafike lapho bakulandzeleni yonke lenvo lo mgomo lobekiwe. Ngicabanga ukuthi if kungacikelelwa ukuthi nabefika le kulama tennis courts noma ngingasithi i-tennis kuphela, nabefika nje le emagroundini nabadlala khona kwenziwe yonke lenvo before badlale kufuthiwe lapha nabo bafuthwa batest ukuthi banjani, then lamanye angadlala vele. Ngicabanga ukuthi angeke sime forever. Yes, ngeke ngasho phambilini ngathi lokumcwa kakhulu impilo tabadlali, but ngicabanga ukuthi lamanye causes siyabona ukuthi vele labanye abantu baphuma bayemadolobheni bafuna lokho labakufuna ko, but nalamanye ema sports angadlala.
Lastly, maybe before we move on, the topic of the programs is the issue also of to say it's a nice thing. Last week Friday, President Way Football Association mentioning that they will wait for a medical team to submit, would see if football comes, how are they going to approach medical aspect to ensure that they assist them. So Tsabetse, on behalf of the associations, they are yet to look into that thing. What do you see? If we were to say there is a marathon, 1,500 bayangena kule marathon, basuka kule kulama regions lahlukahlukene, sithini ngalenza master ukuthi what are we taking serious measures if we were to say athletics sayivumela ukuthi idlala, sayivumela swimming, sayivumela tennis? Are we having medical checkups for these whole things?
Nangabe batawu decide akhamba kanjalo Fabrice kuvele kucinga ukuthi kucikelele kakhulu ngala kutempilo bacheckwe bonke labantu labataba involved, but ebholeni nje obukhuluma ngeFootball Association owakhuluma president ukuthi batawuhlangana nale medical team nale committee yakhona babuke ukuthi iway forward itsini, but ngicabanga ukuthi nakhona lapho ngalabholeni ngine worry Fabrice, because siyathi ukuthi ibhola i contact sport, angisisho ukuthi nangabe babuyela 22 webadlali egroundini batsinzana batheklishana bashildana ukuthi akwendekani. So ngicabanga ukuthi nalapho nginenkinga kancane ngalabholeni bo tennis bangabuyela njengoba sengishilo ukuthi tennis udimela ngala lomnye emengala ubebetela ama handshakes uyabona, but ebholeni ngeke uze avoid lokho.
Now we moving to one of the kind gesture that we saw, moving to the kind gesture now that we saw taking place over the weekend. Of course, some of the golfers of the Mbabane Golf Club decided to say, Bokedi, these are the people we work with, and I think they rely on that smaller amount of money that they get during the entire hall when it's being played. The products, Nasimbona la Cosmo Mtetwa, who once was a former football player but now who also is a golfer, he says the packages that are worth 8,500 to assist Bokedi Bank 30. What a gesture, master. It's a good thing to do.
Fabrice lomnye utatibuta ukuthi ukhuluma ngabokhedi mhlawumbe utawukhuluma ucabanga ukuthi ukhuluma ngeligama lemuntu. Bokhedi ngilaba sita la abadlali begaluva kubaphathela le tinvo tabo. So labadlali begaluva ke lama golfers abonile ukuthi since kude ema games kudzingeka ukuthi laba abaphathelako kude mhlambe info le fika le ngenako ngakubo abasebenzi.
These are the ones in MTN brand.
Yes, Fabrice laba phethe le tinvo tekudlala. So babonile ke lama golfers ngicabanga ukuthi
maybe masa kujuba baye bathula malini nje
no angeke uze usho Fabrice cause liholo lemuntu lela so sekungafana ukuthi sireveala liholo lemuntu. Yes, but ngicabanga ukuthi yinvo lenhle leyo Fabrice cause bani lenisebenza nabo niyabati kuhlupheka kwabo netidzingo tabo. So ngicabanga nje ukuthi yinvo lenhle ukuthi babone lokuthi kude le mali laba yithola at the moment, so ba decide ukuthi babanike nanye umgodla laba banike wona. How I wish
this could apply to other sporting
lamanye ma sporting course because banenge ngishilo na last week test ukuthi ngala ibhola nje kunabo Rafael kunayo nabo bonke laba sebenza stadium badzinga ukuthi batholela okuncane.
Nasibuka le package lapho master kunabo rice, there is mabonchis, there is the necessary stuff ungatitsinga kwanyanga,
the basics
yes. Now but when you talk about Mbabane Golf Club doing a kind gesture, so we're moving from this kind gesture now to one would say is a horrible gesture to say they did this kind gesture on Saturday about 10:30. 30 minutes later they were on the golf course playing. Not the specific people are seeing on the camera, but I'm talking about the course. So what do you see about this? Because I think in the interview later on, he mentioned Cosmo to say, as a sport that is not a contact, they can maybe go on and keep playing. So there is a hope that maybe we can talk to one of the Mbabane Golf Club captain, Kenneth Ngambure, just to get some of these clarities on the two issues. I'm told that Kenneth Ngambure is already online. Captain, my captain, good evening. This afternoon we are welcoming you on Eswatini TV.
Siyabonga Fabrice kungemukela.
Asiqale nje ngokuthi it was a kind gesture seeing you as some of the golfers at the Mbabane Club, just a kind gesture, just assisting these people, the caddies that help you daily on your tournaments. Could it be your training sessions? I think the idea, one would say, it's a first of its kind from sporting activities. I think we haven't seen yet other sporting courts doing what you have done. What a gesture.
Oh yes, thank you so much. I think it's Manzini who started it the week before, and then Sinesasa Sialanzela emva kwa Manzini. And I think we should thank Manzini because ngabo laba behlahlandlela and nathi sawubona la kubo lomgwaqo. And then I think siyabonga kakhulu kuma golfers ukuthi babendela ama donations banikelele labo khedi, because labo khedi le mali labayitholako ngaloku sikherela the Galvin, it is their only source of income. It is they use that money to put food on the table. Some of them, they are family men, and they need that money. And the situation, it was very dire.
Yes, Mr. Gambule, mhlawumbe one would want to say the number that was assisted on the day, it's about 30 caddies. Maybe is that the entire number that you normally work with at Mbabane Club, or it's beyond, or maybe you are still to come back and assist others? Because I want to believe they're not only 30, maybe there are all those remaining 10 or 15 caddies, but this is maybe one of the first phases that you started.
Yes, labakhona kufika on the day, they were 30. But usually it depends on the tournaments, because if we've got tournaments like Nazala, MTN, SRIC, we normally attract golfers like 60. So ukanda ukuthi some caddies from other golf courses bayeta batosilekelela. But nyalo besitila njengalaba sembabane, laba sembabane sebabonge, they are about 40, bang 40 sebabonge.
Wow. Now, moving on to another topic, Mr. Kenneth, is that the issue of activities. I think government, together with the Ministry of Sports and together with, of course, the Eswatini Sport Council, we had actually one of the members here in the studio earlier on, touched on the issue to say currently sporting activities are on suspension, meaning they are on hold. We will be advised to when we can continue. But there have been a concern, of course, especially those who stay within the capital city of Mbabane have seen a number of golfers. We're not picking any names, but we've seen, and then I think our cameras also have got few pictures. We've seen some of the athletes, golfers on the course during this time of the pandemic. As a captain, what would be your reaction to that? And then I think we also heard from the president of the Golf Union, Mr. Mhlanga, a few weeks ago, saying that they will ensure that this won't happen again. But now, specifically from you as a captain, what do you say about this issue?
Mina as a captain, sengikhulumela iMbabane Golf Club. Stand is to clear. We've issued, I think, in the past 2 weeks, we've issued 2 notices. And omabili ama notices abe stemba lo ukuthi vele sports asemisiwe and the golf course is closed. So golf course ivaliwe. So lesikwendile uthe Prime Minister nakakhipha le statements last week. I think the lockdown they say we are ku stage 3. Uthi maybe sekune now. Ngoba bezivale to practice nje arranging the practice range besivalile. So what we said was that maybe we can open the practice range, but not playing the practice range for golfers ukuthi ngoba igaluva kukhona ukuthi nje na unga exercise endlini exercise igaluva sitela ama facilities and kustumile lokho kumbe kube bese isikhathi ngabe sizambile kwenta taba. So bangafika nje bashaye lawo magaluva, but nakhona the social distance issue is very important. Nalo ukuthi ke golf club iya provide lama sanitizers, and also encourage golfers ukuthi each golfer ibe ne sanitizer yayo and they must wear a mask, but the golf course is closed.
Now ukhuluma yendzaba ema practice range, Mr. Gambulu, you saying, maybe just to hear you clearly, to say are there any terms and conditions to that, to say maybe ungafika when you're one, or should follow all these rules, skirts in terms of when can you practice to what end, and then maybe was that formal to a sport council or any formal proposal to the golf union to say maybe when one is seen on the golf course is not charged, so that they don't think he's being maybe he's not following the rules? Is anything was formalized on the issue?
No, there is nothing formalized, but what we're saying as a club is that the golf course is closed. So I think that is the underlying issue, which is course ivaliwe. So we encourage my golfers to stay at home. So now ungaya nje lapha golf class, even though lo sebenda lapha la golf club akekho usekhaya, uhlele ekhaya, because we are not expecting my golfers to come.
The Sport Council has opened for recommendation, a different recommendation from sporting associations who think maybe their sport is not a threat to the pandemic. You, when you are a golfer one, you can go play on your own. These are some of the recommendations that one can forward to the association. I know you don't speak on behalf of the sport, but as a golfer, do you think now Esportian as Galuva, do you deserve maybe to get that chance to say you can practice during this time?
I think we do deserve it, because Vele Galuva, the sport, vele lilu exercise le social distance. It's not a contact sport, and nangabe nidlala in groups of a maximum 4. So vele ikhona le social distance. So nale nombolo le behulumende abantu labang-20 ngeke size sifike kuyo eGalvin ngoba sidlala in groups of 4. So sicabanga ukuthi siyadeserve ukuthi singayithola le thuba lokuthi sibuyele masinyane siyodlala.
Maybe Sivarade interview Mr. Ngambure just to find out back a bit on the issue of the golf club, to say have you put any measures? I understand you say the golf is closed and there's no one there, but now have you put any measure in case you find someone playing during this time when you've closed? Do you have any disciplinary measures that you've taken to any golfer that you might find there?
No, disciplinary measures leswathethe, because we believe ukuthi nje ema-golfers banabadzala nathi sikhulumile nabo bayalalela, and sisakubeka specifically clear lapha kule notice esayikhipha lokuthi nangabe bantu benda lokunye lo sekuhluke kulele sikubatshela kona, then they are doing it at their own risk. So thina sekudile singakwenza.
We thank you very much for your time, Mr. Kenneth, and I think we can rely on you next time when we need any explanation to what's going on.
Oh, no, thank you so much, Fabrice.
There you have it. That is Kenneth Ngambure, the captain of the Mbabane Golf Club. I mean, we are move Kenneth. Singasho ukuthi when now kumenza COVID, it's sensitive kakuru because you don't want to see, you don't want to be seen on the opposite direction. We have it. I would see bafage notice they chaza ukuthi kuvaliwe kwanyalo, but we still see people.
Yeah, it's tough, Apresi. Ngicabanga ukuthi no sorry chaza.
And the thing is yes, and what's hurting is that we're not just talking about people. We know golf is a sport that at some point one can use the word. We don't want to use it, but it's a sport that mostly is played by, I want to use the word, wealth people, who we know that have the means to to sustain. So, and then we see these people who are very involved into the establishment of the country, and they are on the course. So tomorrow, and then you ask yourself, what's going on?
If a person njoba ngisho ukuthi lenzaba ilikhuni because Kenneth soyibekile wathi bona njengembabane club bayikhokhile inotice ukuthi vele kumile kudlalwa, but kuyaqhubeka kuyadlalwa kule call sekuthi nje le golf course yaseMbabane iPhinzi Bay Park, so bayamvu bahamba baye lapha, but lokumangalisako after banike labokhedi lama parcela abo Fabrice, minutes later sekutholakala ema-golfers golf course asayadlala, uyabona, kuze kufika namaphoyisa nje abakhweshisa nabacall number 2 batholakala bayadlala. Manje awusati lokuthi ngilembabane golf club noma sekude labanye, but earlier bebakhona batektonika bokhedi tinshwana letincane.
And like he said, there are no measures in terms of ukuthi bangakucharge, because he says he believes, which I understand his explanation, to say ban badlala igalova uva ngathi ban batsala abatsinga ukuthi.
But as a team, as a club of Fabrice, because mina if owner a team,
true,
and one of ema players abreaka umthetho aphula umthetho, nginelungelo lokumbita lo mdlalo ngimjezise because uhlaza le team yami. Ngicabanga ukuthi nabo as Mbabane golf club kutsenga ukuthi if one of ema-golfers abo aphula lo mthetho atholakala lapha, kube nendlela labatampantsha ngayo because bayasho ukuthi kuvaliwe.
Now, maybe what one would want to say is that moving forward, because I think this is the third time we're touching on the issue. Sister over and maybe next time over kumaphoyisa would see they have noted, especially the Mbabane police station, to say they have seen ukuthi solo bayaqhubeka bayadlala, and then on their behalf there are no measures, golf course. But maybe for the police, there are measures they will take.
Yeah.
So maybe we can say for the viewer, next time we try to hear from the police to understand what are the measures that can be taken when one is seen. Angat noma uyiva kahle.
Ngiyakuva Fabrice, because njengoba ngisho nje ukuthi lamanye ama-golfers namuhla azakhweshiswa bemthetho ukuthi nite phela imvumo, ninayo imvumo yokuhlala la, kwatholakala ukuthi bethe imvumo yekudlala, kwatholakala ukuthi bethe imvumo kwathiwa bahambe. So nalapho kumele sive ukuthi nangabe utholakala usenkundleni Temidlalo kwenziwa njani.
Talking about golf now, let's move to Mbabane. Let's go to Ngonyeni because in as much as you once visited a golf course in Ngonyeni, I mean, a beautiful course, one would say, as Commander, it's a beautiful course. Of course, number recommendations and all the things set by Lanzera, you are being sanitized from the pictures. One would say congratulations to the golf course. It's a beautiful one.
Fabrice bekuliviki lecala na ukhumbula kahle le kubhedvuke lo mkhuhlane iCovid-19 sase siyavakasha engonyeni sayo hlula leyo golf course lensha yinhle angifuni icambe manga beyingakapheli ke but nge weekend iphelile in fact iphelile le golf course so nyalo bebavula yona nge weekend but it's very unfortunate because kunetimvo labangafuni kudisho but nje bebayivula badlala and there is a reliable source leyasho ukuthi le ship lenjelile earlier on ukuthi baqhubeka badlala bathi bona bethi inkinga neqhubeka ukudlala because igolf akusi contact sport bahamba bathi jimela kule course lensha le but siyawathi umthetho ukuthi uthini.
Now, it's a beautiful cause. This is what's killing me. I mean, we're starting by congratulating these sporting courts and these regions and these golf courses, but later on there's something going on that we're saying they are not doing right. We started by talking about how golf course in Mbabane were assisting caddies, but later on they went on to play. They opened a beautiful course at Ngonyeni Club, but now they decide to play during the time when they're not allowed. Because now what we're saying is that there's a situation that is going on within the golf industry. Maybe one would want to understand. They have a right, maybe they feel like they're being banned. Now, they played over the weekend. It's something that we also wanted to find out, but unfortunately, we couldn't get some of the officials of the golf to get us explanation. But I understand that also rumors has it that we might see them also active over the weekend.
Fabrice, can I clear the air? We have nothing against golf.
Golf, yes.
Because lo munye utathi sisinenkinga nekuthi bantfu batholakala etinkundleni tetemidlalo and sport lesibonakele si active during le lockdown golf which is wrong. Lesithini siyakwekhuta because samva uhulumende ukuthi wathini ngema sports. So if ema golfers atawuchubeka atholakale engonyeni adlala bathi bona bayachubeka vele nekudlala bayachubeka nekujima kurong uyabona kurong kakhulu noma ngabe yinsha bebatawuhlala sikhashanyana Fabrice bachubeke bayinisele golf course kuthi ke nasekulungile because sekusedutana sekuyakhanya phambili bese bayadlala.
Now, there you have it. We, of course, keep a close eye. These are some of the pictures, of course, coming from the golf course to Ngonyeni, just to show us how the beautiful course is. We will keep a close eye to what's happening there to understand what are the reasons why they think they can proceed with the competitions, and are they aware of some of the regulations and terms that are being used to punish one. And maybe I mean to say, we are not saying that currently one can carry on and practice a sport. Currently the Sport Council is yet to allow the so-called sporting codes not to cause a threat. They haven't yet said go play, but in the meantime asichubeke silandzele lo mthetho utsithi hlale
ngicela khotha emagama azama ngwabeke ngeSiswati because yena wabeke ngelimi lesingisi.
Yes.
Uthi zama kude inkinga nekujima la uhlala khona endlini.
Yes.
Inkinga ilapho nasophumela ngaphandle
Groups.
So igroup so hamba so jima noma uyodlala seyinkinga ke lapho.
There you have it. Dlamini, of course, still with us. Let's catch up internationally. Maybe before we go for internationally, another situation that has actually seen a top player in the Republic of South Africa, of course, passing on a golden arrow star, former captain, also, of course, leaving the sport industry, and of course, leaving us with Shem Hlabeni. What are the updates on the story?
Fabrice, earlier on sithole tindzaba letibhlungu from South Africa bomakhelwane bethu golden arrows yathi golden arrows yala Natal captain wabo wakamgwengwe usishile emhlabeni tindzaba letibhlungu letingasithu tinhle ubanjwe ke si stroke wavele washona khona lapho.
I understand he was at his hometown, is it Petersburg?
Yes, beka vele bekasekhaya. Bekasekhaya lokufa kumthola usekhaya. He was the captain of the team, 30 years of age. So uyabona ukuthi abesemncane abenelikusasa wafika Golden Arrows 2013. Ushilo na mphathi wa Golden Arrows Manto ukuthi bekayilida kule team and nakafika vele kule team wambona ukuthi uyilida ngicabanga nje ukuthi bebamdzinga umdlalo sengaye singasho nje ukuthi madudu akalale ngekuthula.
Wow, there you have it. Of course, the sports industry, especially football, has once again lost a crucial key player. Now, moving on to PGA Tour, tailor-made driving relief. I mean, these are some of the things, of course, that are making headlines internationally. I mean, from the screen, of course, it's showing.
Fabrice, tailor-made driving inakho za igolf akusiyo i-main tournament lomnyaka cabanga ukuthi bese idlalwa no it was a charity match bekudibane ma teams lang 2 anebadlali abang4 lokusho ukuthi 2-2 Makaroy Anna Johnson Dustin Johnson bese kuthi ngala kuna Fowler na le ngicabanga ukuthi badlalile kuthiwa lo mdlalo bebodlala because ku like kugembula ukuthi ngathini kugembula noma ini kuba kubita ngama skins bona umgosi umunye ke Fabrice kule skin sabo bobita $1.1 lokushothi nje one skin shothi is one say yonke le ngakho zabe ithi $5.5 yonke le mali laba irezile ne United Health Organization ikhokhile imali Fabrice imali lengana
there's Johnson of course closing on that hold. Yes.
Yes Fabrice ngithi ikhokhile nemali nayo United Health Organization yasho ukuthi nayo iyafaka lapha ifakela imgosi leng3 uyabona shothi konke nje ihlanganisiwe ke le mali kude ke lofikile ku 18 hole lo ngathi uyiwinile 18 hole bagcine bashaya 6 badlali 9 yes badlali 9 kude lofikile locethe yonke le 18 hole ngicabanga nje ukuthi yindvo lenhle Fabrice le asisho ukuthi imidlalo seyibuyile. Yes, laba bebaraise imali for funds for bantu laba affected for ngale COVID-19.
And of course PGA Tour, I mean, if I remember last week, they have put measures to say players who will attend the PGA Tour next month, they will have to quarantine in the United States. Players who are not from the United States, so they will have to go there prior 2 weeks and then stay safe and stay clean and stay home before they take part of the event.
Yes, on Thursday yakhokha iPGA Tour ukuthi every golfer lotawungena longahlali America lotathi nakangena America ahlale enzaweni yakhe kushothi batam quarantine for a period of time angadibani nalabanye bantu before the main tournament. Lengicabanga ukuthi idinvo letikahle leto because now uhleli lena uyabukakala bakuchecka ukuthi ude nivele leligciwane na utholakala ukuthi ude then so ngahamba uyidlale the main tournament.
Now, in what has been the highlight of the weekend was to see the Bundesliga, one of the top leagues in the Europe, that is the Dutch league. It was on its way back. Of course, the likes of Lewandowski being on the score sheet. I mean, it was good to see the Bundesliga coming, and I think, I don't know where you were, but somehow, somewhere, I know you got to watch something.
I was watching Fabrice, more especially the game at Dortmund.
Yeah,
the Schalke. Halat, my favorite player. He's only 18 and was scorisha we are leader futsinyalo ku Bundesliga. Ngicabanga ukuthi Fabrice besolo sekulinzile lo and sitibonile ke tinvo letinhle besides lo ile excitement ukuthi mhlambe ibuyile ibhola ibuyile ma sports but ma celebrations more especially ngala Dortmund bebacikilele kakhulu ukuthi noma ngabe kuthiwa ba celebrate at least ningasonzelani noma ngabe na celebrate kanjani ningasonzelani ningatsinzani.
That's the 18-year-old player.
18-year-old.
His father played football and he was also one of the best players.
Wadlala naseNgilandi babo wakhe wadlalela ne-national team yase Norway. Ngicabanga nje ukuthi ufike kahle ufike January ke ku Dortmund. Is the first player bebasolo bangavumi iChampions League ukuthi unawudlalile kule season le wahamba January waya kulenye team wadlala but yena udlalile nasekuvumela umthetho wakora.
The information. Now, this is Dortmund, of course. This is a mask. Look at the distance, look at the communication, and look at I want to believe
substitutes. Yes, bekahleli achelelene vele social distance beyiqikelele kakhulu. But ke Fabrice ngala football part history yentekile kule game le sibone the first ever game kuthi kufakwe 5 abadlali egameni
bawulandzela umthetho wama substitution.
Yes.
Wow, there you have it. In terms of fans, I'm sure they were each. They wanted to be on the
no. Only 230 people were allowed a stadium, including baphathi bema teams, security.
For a stadium that normally accommodates close to 80,000.
Yes. Only 20.
Can we survive like this? I mean, can we survive like this?
I doubt Fabrice. Now buka nje ukuthi beku empty la bekumbathiswe ema seats emajezi labanye khona ke lengeke ngisho beke badoli ngengibasho labo badoli labo but nje bona bayakhona bayasurvive sibukele i-league imnanzi.
Celtic crowned champions quickly before we close.
I-Celtics yase Scotland Fabrice icoachwa nguye Neil Lennon. Siyakhumbula ukuthi Celtics beyicoachwa nguye Brendan Rodgers wasesoya ku Leicester City washiya ayiwinele ke inkomishi forward inkomishi wasuyathatha ke Lennon. But this season ngicabanga ukuthi iRangers beyita kahle Fabrice do yase uyavela lo mkhuhlane wabaphathamisa but iCeltics beyilida nga 13 points idlala igame inye ngetulu ku Rangers. iRangers icoachwa nguye Steven Gerrard lo akwadlala ku Liverpool, so bekafisile naye kuyiwina le league but unfortunately kwasekuvela lesifo lesi kube ne team le relegatiwe iHearts irelegatiwe iyayivuma imvuku beyina only 23 points ya relegate shothi yodlala ku lower league next season.
There you have it. When he's in the studio, Mr. Dlamini, of course, you can go on and talk about what's happening in the sport industry. He does this for a living, of course. And I hope for the Scottish League, they won't regret their decision, of course, to overturn the league and say they are handing over to the leaders, who is Celtics. Otherwise, thank you very much for being with us for the entire hour, of course, from the moment you're with the Sport Council, touching on the issue of the recommendations of funds relief to associations who might need it, and of course the moment we touched on some of the sporting activities that are still ongoing, specifically golf. Otherwise, for those who are watching on YouTube platform, of course, keep on watching. This is your program. Otherwise, the entire program, the entire host, the entire analyst, and the entire crew, Eswatini TV, we say, Silvera Kamnanzi.